Load it up, Carl. This shit feel like game 7. Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings.
Welcome to the Money Down. We got a very special guest, my guy, my little bro, Damien Harris. About time we got him on the podcast.
What's going on, family?
I'm chilling, man. We chilling. How's life? Retired life? I know, which you vibing up. You just got married last year. You got a son. So how's that been for you?
Bro, it's been a blessing, honestly. I reconnected with the love of my life last year, and bro, literally within 3 months of us reconnecting, we were eloping in Greece. We was in Santorini, with all the white buildings and stuff.
Y'all doing
But, this is how crazy God works. Me and my wife, we were like best friends in college. We were in 2 separate relationships, but we lost contact for a long time. Like I said, we reconnected last year. 3 months later, we ended up eloping in Greece, and it was just me and her and a dude that looked like Elvis Presley, and so right after we went to right after we had our ceremony and everything, we went to dinner at this nice restaurant and everything, and we was looking at the views and everything, and I was just like, man, wouldn't it be crazy if somehow on this trip, we found out that because we knew we were trying to have a baby at some point, but. It's like, wouldn't it be crazy? And then, bro, I swear to God, that very night we went back to the hotel after dinner, and she took a test and she was pregnant. And it happened that fast. But that's a testament to God, man. It don't take that much time at all. Whenever it's the right person, the right situation. So, with having that happen, and having built such a strong family foundation, in such a quick period of time, and such a strong, bond with my wife, now bond with my son, that obviously kind of helped me with this transition because, as much as I like to make people think I transition well and, I've got the right head on my shoulders and, I'm processing things the right way. And, I got a positive mindset about it. Like, bro, that stuff is hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I played football for majority of my life, and just having it taken away from me, like in an instant, it was crazy. But, even going back to the day that I got hurt, that was the first time I ever felt my son kick. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, with everything that kind of started to happen in my career towards the end of it, with it ending early, prematurely, whatever you want to call it, I just felt like I always had the things in place to keep me grounded, to keep me, present in the moment. Like, yeah, football got taken away from me, but, regardless of if I had finished out my career and played, 5 more years, I still have 50, 60 more years, God willing, to live this life. So really having my, my wife and my son and, just seeing him grow every day, seeing the world through his eyes and, his curiosity and, feeling the love from my wife. And, anytime, if she even thinks I got my head down, she's just doing everything she can to, assure me that, God makes no mistakes. And, what happened to me, it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. Now I get to spend all this time with my wife and my son. And, if I was still playing, I wouldn't get the same amount of, free time. So, it's been up and down, but way more ups just because, like I said, man, I got a beautiful family foundation that, really has just set me up to be successful in life, to be at peace, to be happy, and just, be accepting of where I am.
100%. Yeah, being retired myself 2 years, it's definitely a lot of ups and downs. Like you said, you played football for so many years of your life. It's so structured, and now you just kind of on your own. You kind of got to figure it out. But having a wife, having a son, that definitely keeps you grounded, keeps you doing the right things on a daily basis, knowing you get to spend that extra time. Because I'm sure at some point you'll get into a gig or something, and some type of job to where you won't be able to spend that amount of time at home, but just to enjoy those days, especially when they're so young. It goes by so fast. You go look up. He gonna be running around.
Yeah, he's already he's 3 months, and it's like I'll put him down for tummy time, and he'll be facing one direction, and then I'll look away for 2 seconds, and then he's in a whole different position. He's just, bro, time is going by so fast. You know what I mean? And those of y'all who have kids out there know what it's like, man. It happens in the blink of an eye, man. But there's nothing I'd rather be doing, honestly, than just sitting and watching his every move, watching him grow every single day. You know what I mean? I see how he changes from day to day, from week to week. You know what I mean? And eventually, whenever I do start working again, I'll obviously be glad to get another gig. But really just enjoying all these times that I get, that I know I wouldn't normally have. It means a lot to me. Being a dad, being a husband, it really means a lot to me. So having the opportunity to be that at my, maximum capacity, that's something that I don't take for granted at all.
100%, man.
That's real.
I'm gonna take it back to Kentucky, man. We're gonna take it back. We're gonna rewind the clock, man. Take me back to them days back in Kentucky. 5-star recruit Damien Harris, running all over the field. What was that like for you, recruiting process? Obviously, you ended up committing to Alabama, but I'm sure you had every offer on the table. You're the number one player in the state, number one running back in the country. How did you embrace all of that?
Honestly, I was one of those kids that was like, I would have never expected this to happen to me, just because, even though I was good and, I felt like, no disrespect, but I was better than the competition that I was playing. I was still looking at myself as just like a small town kid from Richmond, Kentucky. You know what I mean? That we know there's states like Georgia, Texas, Florida, California that produce.
Illinois.
Oh yeah.
Hey, don't play. They don't play.
They doing that.
Well, look, he said, yeah. Hey, appreciate you. He knows.
And it was crazy. Even once I started, getting ranked and getting noticed by whether it be Rivals or ESPN or Scout or anything like that, like I still had a little bit of doubt because I was like, well, I know I'm not playing against the best competition. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna just, I'm balling still, so I'm going to just keep playing, you know what I'm saying? Like, however it shakes out, it's going to shake out. But then, I started going to camps and I started competing against, these other 5-stars and, these other kids that were supposed to go to like Alabama, Texas, Georgia, LSU, all these big schools. And, I was able to hold my own. And honestly, I felt like once I started, competing against guys like that, I started performing a lot better. So, it was really, it just kind of took off once I started going to those camps. And, like you said, I was fortunate enough to be, the number one ranked player at my position. And, it was always such a surreal feeling because like, I come from a place where like, there's a lot of, what ifs, like this dude, what if, this hadn't happened or what if this hadn't happened or like, man, this dude was a hell of a basketball player, but like, something happened here, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't really think that because, like I said, I'm from small town Richmond, Kentucky, but like there's so much of that. And so, I was always afraid to, fall into that category and, let the people that was looking at me as, the kid that was supposed to make it out. Like, I don't want to let those people down. So, like I said, thankfully competing against those other guys, made me start performing better. And I just, kept building confidence day in and day out. And, my confidence started to outweigh my fears of letting people down. And, I felt like that was when, I really just was at my best. And, I had the opportunity to choose where I went to school. There's a part of time where I thought I was going to go to Kentucky and stay home and be the hometown hero. I had a family there, my mom, my sisters, my grandmother, the whole yin yang. But, for me, it was just, like I said, whenever I was going up against the best and competing against the best, I felt like, it upped my level of play. So ultimately, in the back of my mind, I felt like that was what ultimately made me choose Alabama because that's what it was. Every day at practice, like I practiced against the best linebackers, the best D linemen, the best running backs in the country. Like I was there with Derrick Henry.
Except RBU.
Here y'all go, man. Here y'all go. But like I said, I was there with Derrick Henry when he won his Heisman, and I was there with Najee Harris. I was there with Josh Jacobs. I was there with Bo Scarborough. Like I was there with some boys. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess just in the back of my mind, I knew that going somewhere that was going to push me to be my best was going to ultimately bring the most out of me.
And talk about that, right? Like you how you said, it kind of was like, what if am I good enough? Or but then you go to Bama and like you said, Derrick Henry Heisman winner, Josh Jacobs, gangster, Bo Scarborough, gangster. Like we really name it.
It almost kind of like put me back in that place, right? Because like I knew Derek was going to be the guy. I knew there was a dude named Kenyon Drake who was a senior. He was going to be the guy. But, I definitely thought that I was going to get more PT than what I got as a freshman. You know what I mean? I was splitting the third third guy on the depth chart, I was fighting with Bo Scarborough for that. We were splitting time with that. So, that kind of shook my confidence a little bit once I got there because, like I said, I built up all this confidence. Okay, I'm the number one running back in the country. I'm a 5-star. I'm going to go in. I'm going to make an impact. And, I'm not going to let Coach Saban down. Like, I'm going to go make my family proud from the moment I step on campus, everything. And I was really just like a special teamer. And that was hard for me. That was probably one of the hardest parts of my career. I didn't know if I was going to really pan out because, obviously building up that confidence and coming from being, the pick of the litter, like I get there and I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy, man. So that was real humbling for me. And honestly, it was what I needed because I felt like I did kind of go into college on a little bit of a high horse, because I was like, okay, I made it out and I finally, reached the level that nobody where I'm from has reached. So like I finally accomplished something, but really I hadn't accomplished anything. You know what I mean? I just got to really what was square one, honestly. But it took me a long time, and that whole off season, I competed with all the toughest guys. Like I said, Bo Scarborough in the running back room with me, and then all the 5-star guys on defense, the Reuben Fosters, the Minka Fitzpatricks, the Quentin Williams, the Eddie Jacksons, Marlon Humphreys, you know what I mean? And I guess just the off season and, once training camp picked up and I really got to just clear my mind and just go out there and start competing again, not necessarily worry about, okay, Derrick Henry's gone. The guy that played in front of me last year, he's gone. So it's me or nobody, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of how I started to build my confidence back up. And, from there, I really felt like I developed a level of belief in myself that, even after that, if something didn't go my way or if I didn't have a good game or anything like that, like I always knew in my heart, who I was, why I was there. I was there for a reason. I could play at that level. And, once I got that confidence going into my second year, I never let it go.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm hoping some of these youngins listen to this, bro, because, bro,
it's how it goes, and it don't even, not even at like, that type of level, it starts at a young age. Like I said, I dealt with the confidence issues at a young age and I had to work on, building that and at an early age, look at myself in the mirror, like, am I good enough to do this? Yes, I am. You know what I mean? People think when you look in the mirror and be real with yourself, you got to tell yourself something negative. You got to be like, oh, well, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing enough of this. Like, no, like I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, bro, you can play. Like, you can really play. Like the first time I started going to, like I said, I started going to rivals camps and stuff. Like I was like, nah, I can play. And then again, in that second year, going into my sophomore year at Alabama, like I just had to have that conversation with myself again. And I just didn't let that doubt creep into my mind of like, okay, can I do this? Like, I don't know. I was just like, bro, I can. Like I didn't come this far just to get this far.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, but along with that, like, you talked about being in a room with dogs, bro. Like, you see young guys these days, bro. Like, you get into a room, like, they don't want to face the adversity of, like, the hard work, bro. They deucing, bro. Like, the transfer portal so wild. But that's what I'm saying. I hope young guys hear this because, bro, like, sometimes, like, facing that adversity makes you a much better player. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then look at you. Look how you turned out. Game changer in the league. Game changer in college. Like, it can still happen for people. And even better than what they could imagine, right?
No, definitely.
Guys don't want to sit no more. Guys don't want to wait. Guys don't want to learn. Like
different breed.
I ain't against it. Go ahead, Bree.
Oh no, I just want to ask you. I know you don't won. What you won? 2 chips and 2 nationals.
Listen, I played in 4. I won
4. 2. That's crazy.
Anytime anybody ever asks me how many chips I won, I already got to tell them. Listen, I played in 4. I only won 2 of them, but every year I played in the big dance. Every year.
What was that one like against Sony in Georgia? What year was that? 2018. That was that wild one.
That was 18. And I ain't gonna hold you. Like, it's so funny because playing with Sony, I felt connected to him for so long because like I always knew the name Sony Michel. Like I always heard the name Plantation, Florida, like in high school, and then I saw what he was doing in Georgia. And then, I seen the game that he had against, who did they play in the play? Oklahoma.
He went crazy.
He had the game winner, and he was with Nick Chubb. I'm like, yo, these some dogs, bro. These some dogs, man. And, that was the best part of, playing in the SEC. Like, granted, that was the national championship game, but like every week, even if we were playing a team that we knew, wasn't at the, peak Tennessee form and peak LSU form. Like, we was playing some dogs. So whenever we went into that natty against Georgia, like, we knew it was going to be a dog fight. And they punched us in the mouth for a whole 3.5 quarters, bro. Like, they was dogging us from start to finish, and we, obviously we had to make the quarterback change, and we was on the ropes. You feel me? It was
like, he talk about that at halftime, or like what was that like,
bruh? It was so crazy because like, and this is obviously no disrespect to Jalen Hurts. I mean, look what he's doing in the league now, but at that time, like there was a lot of confidence in Tua, I should say, that. We knew that if it came down to it and he had to be our quarterback, we knew that we would be just fine. We knew we were going to be in a good spot. So we were down, I think it was 10-0 at halftime. And, we went up in the locker room and everybody was just kind of like looking around because I feel like we had lost the game that year, but that was the first time that we really kind of were looking around like, damn, what are we going to do? Because we couldn't piss a drop on offense. We couldn't stop them on defense. And we was just like, what are we going to do? And then it was real quiet. And then all of a sudden, people just kind of started mumbling like, Tua starting the second half. And then it was like when one person said it, then another person said it. And we were like, and honestly, Coach Saban never really addressed it. Like, he never was like, okay, we're going to go with Tua in the second half. But that was kind of because it was because we had that next up mentality. Like, regardless of who's in the game, don't matter who's a quarterback, running back, like, the standard is the standard. And so I remember we went out in the second half. We got the ball, kicked it out of the end zone touchback. We get in the huddle for the first play. And before Tua even calls the play, like, he gets on the knee. He's like, bro, I don't care what happens. We're going to win this game. No matter what. And we all just looked around and was like, shit, let's play ball. Let's see what happens. And then, that was such a game. That was a moment in time that, like, I to this day, every time I hear like the audio of it or I see a video of it, man, it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up because, among so many other great things, like when I look back at my career, like, why did I play this great game? To be a part of moments like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, all the individual things, people want to make this amount of money, people want to run for this amount of yards and stuff. And granted, I had those goals too. But being a part of moments like that, like, it's indescribable, James. I know because you've been a part of some moments like that, but it was just that whole game, man. And the fact that we like you said, got to do it against a great team like Georgia. Honestly, I'm not gonna say they were the better team, but if we played them on another day, I don't know if we would have had as good of a shot, even that we had, and we didn't have that good of a shot, But it was a legendary moment against a legendary team at a legendary time in college football, and I was just grateful to be a part of it. Truly.
It's just so crazy to me. I'm just sitting, I'm thinking back, like, bro, obviously, Devontae Smith in that game was Judy there, or Judy was gone?
No, Judy was there.
Judy was there.
Calvin Ridley was there.
T. Red was there.
T. Red. It was me.
Was Waddle there?
It was Najee Harris. Jalen Waddle was there. We had Irv Smith, who was a second-round tight end at the time. We had a couple first-round O-linemen, like left. Like, I mean, the list goes on, bro.
But what's crazy about it was like that for Georgia too. Like, bro, it damn near was like an all-star game, bro.
It was.
That was the Senior Bowl right there.
Yeah. And honestly, like they brought out the best in us. We brought out the best of them, and like I said, it was a legendary game. It wasn't even just one of those, like, how you see low scoring games sometimes that are real like boring and monotonous, but like that was still just like, it was just a good ass game. It just two teams slugging it out, like two absolute heavyweights, going punch for punch, pound for, like I said, they punched us in the mouth, a bunch of times, and we were just able to get that last punch, and it was a knockout.
Yeah, knocked their ass right
out. On the college football tip, I got a question for you, Dame. Yeah, we all advocate and video game heads in here. Obviously, college football coming out in about a month or so.
Sir.
It's coming back out. Seeing a lot of stuff on toughest stadiums to play in. Obviously, you in the SEC, playing in some crazy stadiums. What was the loudest and toughest stadium for you when you was in college?
Oh man, honestly, and Man, Death Valley. I'll tell you this. I'll say Death Valley at LSU, and the only reason why I would say that is because every time we played there, it was a night game, and it was like number one.
I heard that shit crack.
Odell was on the sideline waving down. They had all the old heads there. So LSU at a night game ain't nothing like it in the world. Like no professional stadium, no college stadium. Like nothing that no stadium I've ever been in is like LSU in a night game. Okay. But I'll say on a more consistent level though, just like a day game, night game, morning, afternoon, whatever, Texas A&M for sure.
Okay, so
they're
number one for a reason on the game.
I saw that Aggie Land was number one on that ranking for like toughest stadium to play in on NCAA. I wasn't mad at it because Aggie Land was crazy. Like they have so many of these like war chants and like the fans get into it and like they do this like chain link thing, right? Where like at the start of the fourth quarter, like everybody locks arms and they just start rocking side. I swear to God, it looks like the whole stadium is just like moving because it's so many people. It's one of the biggest stadiums. It's one of the loudest. It's one of the fan bases that is the most adamant about not just their team, but like their tradition, their culture, like what Texas A&M stands for, like what Gig'em means to them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I would say between, Death Valley on a night game and then Texas A&M on a good, day to night game, like afternoon.
At 3
sun
o'clock.
starts to go down. Yeah, about 3 o'clock game in the fall. It starts to, get dark, kind of start to darken around like, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I say those two are probably neck and neck for sure.
Even though y'all going to Texas A&M and smoking about like 50.
Like I said, we was them boys now. We was them boys now. I ain't say it meant nothing to us. It was loud, but we was, like I said, we was still them boys. And, a lot of that had to do with Coach Saban, man. Like, the way that he was able to keep, so many 5 stars, so many guys that, could have had big egos and could have wanted, the entire program to be about them. Like the way he got everybody to kind of channel that energy into just our opponent. Yeah. Like he had an unbelievable ability to make us take any sort of like frustration, any type of anger, any type of determination, any type of like motivation you had outside of the game. Like Coach Saban was so methodical about how to get you to apply that to the team that you were playing. And like, granted, there were a few scuffles here and there,
Gotta have it.
Scuffles, because when you have that many high level players, tensions do rise. But there wasn't as many as you would think, and their tensions weren't as high as they could have been because we were always focused on our opponents. And it was like we gonna drill them and drill them and drill them. And it was really like, no matter what team we play, no matter what time, what stadium, like whenever we walk off this field, they are going to never want to play us again. Like they don't want to play us again. They shouldn't think that they deserve to be on the field with us. They should not think that they should have been recruited. They don't deserve the rings that you got. They don't deserve the facilities that we have. They don't do what we do. They are not us. Show them that they are not us. Go out. It's a famous line that, I hear all the time whenever I hear, old clips of Coach Saban, and I can hear it in my head like I'm still sitting there in front of him. We going to go in there and take what's ours. It don't matter who we playing, what team. It's ours. Like, it is ours. We are the University of Alabama. Man, that's it.
That shit sound like a movie.
Hey, got me over here juiced up.
It's crazy. We played Bama my junior year. We played them in Texas.
I was there. We
played them in Texas. And I left that game. So, first quarter, it was like 7-0. Second, going to halftime, it was like, damn, we in a competitive game. But I'm like, man, shit. I know it's hard as hell. Like, it's hard as hell to beat these people, bro. And you feel me? I left that game just with that same mentality. Like, man, bro, anybody beating them this year, dog? Like, you just really got to play the perfect game, fam.
Yeah. And that's what we wanted you to think. Like, even on your best day, you can't compete with us on our perfect game. And like, the thing about it wasn't like arrogance, and it wasn't like overconfidence or just the fact that we wore like a script A on our chest. Like, bro, the amount of work that we put in the off-season program and fall camp, it was like granted, I ain't never been no other college football program, but I can guarantee you that nobody worked the way that we worked. Nobody grinded the way that we grinded. Nobody practiced the way that we practiced. Nobody went through it the way that we did. And we wanted people to feel that. Like, it's not that you can't play at the level that we play at. It's not that. It's like you don't work as hard for it as we do. You don't want it as bad as we do. You're not willing to sacrifice what I'm willing to sacrifice to go through it. Like, I know if you like we used to talk about it all the time, right? We used to call Pac-12 guys fresh guys because they used to practice on Fridays. They practice in hats and T-shirts and stuff. Like, no, like I know those guys that played at UCLA and all that. If they went through fall camp, like I went through fall camp, they wouldn't make it. They would end up in the portal like they are right now. And that's why we expected. That's why we went out there and expected to make people feel that way, because it's like we put in the work, and now we was gonna make you feel that.
Hey Jane. So look, right? We play them, right? Come out, bro. Playing in Dallas. I'm like, damn, screen big as hell, bro.
Yeah, he looking at the lights. He already messed up.
We done played in some big time games, big stadiums, Ohio State. All these places, Nebraska, loud, crazy. So I walk in, I'm like, man, damn, stadium big, whatever, cool. So I'm running around, bro. I see a white boy punting the ball. I'm like, bro, that's the kicker, bro. I'm talking about low. Listen, bro, motherfucker, jack, fam. I'm like, bro, it's no ways the punter, bro. Like,
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna get into it.
I'm telling you, we really used to, before the game, like we used to talk about striking fear in people, like making people afraid of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never heard of that nowhere else. Like even playing. Obviously, the league is a little bit different because you got a lot of talented guys everywhere. But like you don't expect, like in normal combat sports or anything competitive, like you don't expect the person you going up against to fear you. Yeah. Like they're supposed to want to beat you. They're supposed to think they're better than you. Like that's what competition is. No. We going out there, we striking fear. We striking fear, run up in your trap, take over your trap. Scary. None of that. If your mama's in the house,
I'm sorry.
Granny's in the house, walk in your trap, take over your trap.
I've got so many stories.
And honestly, and that's another thing. Sojourn brought it up, and like I don't, I'm not saying this about you in particular. I'm just saying like, we knew that whenever we were playing teams, like it was their biggest game of the year. You know what I mean? Like it was their Super Bowl, it was their national championship. And we knew it was going to be one of two ways. Either they're going to come out and absolutely give us their best shot, and we know we're going to have to really take it to them, or we knew that some guys were just going to be happy to be there and like be in the lights and, be like, oh, damn, we playing in this big stadium. Like, oh, damn. Like when we played, who was it? Florida State, my junior year, it was 1 versus 3. Like, oh, damn, we in the biggest opening game in the history of college football. That didn't mean nothing to us. Yeah. We was just out there whooping ass. Going back to industry and calling it night.
Hey, Lane tried to, so we just wrapping up Lane. Lane back then was drawing up. He was drawing shit up, and when he throw it, he know he got to play. He do like this. He tried to do that with me with C-Red. I ain't gonna lie. I'm ready to play, fam, but how you talk about like your mama and shit there? Like, damn, bro, them really trying to take you.
That's the thing. We was trying, folks. Like, we was trying, folks. You had to stand on your own because, like, even if we beat your team, that's the thing. Even if we beat your team, like, if a dude got a highlight against Bama, like, win, lose, or draw, like, that's going to make some noise for him. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to stand on that business, but the outcome's still gonna be what the outcome's gonna be. It was, you know what I mean?
Still talking some of the NCAA stuff. They like about a month or so ago, they came out saying they're gonna owe some people some back pay. Some of the former players from 2016 on. I mean, you 5-star recruit, 5-star recruit at Alabama.
Bring me more money.
How does that even work? Because see, I'm not familiar, bro. Like, I don't even know. Anybody call me with no information?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't care because I ain't getting it. I'm mad.
We ain't a part of. We a little too.
Yeah,
Souls get a little something.
That's crazy. Make a little something shake.
I believe it's based off, kind of impact and amount you played and like all that. So I mean, you got a good amount of years from that, all your years into that. So you should be getting a little.
And you know what I'm gonna do though when I get that check? I'm gonna go buy a James White jersey. I'm gonna need you to sign it. I'm gonna need you to sign it for me.
We ain't send you a jersey?
Man, he ain't sent me nothing.
I ain't got no Damien Harris jersey neither. What you mean?
Listen, bro. You got to give to receive, man. You ain't never heard
it works both ways, right?
Listen, you retired before me. That was supposed to be how it goes, bro. Whenever you pulled out the building, you were supposed to just go and throw something in my locker, because our lockers was right next to each other too. Throwing a little something there. See, what I had to do was whenever you retired and then come back, I had to go through your locker and steal all that stuff. I had to go
take my shit out. Hey, see, before we continue, let's have a word from our sponsor, Prize Picks. It's NBA playoff time, so make sure you head over to Prize Picks and bet over or under on some of your favorite athletes' projected stats. And when you use our promo code MONEYDOWN, Prize Picks will match up to $500 on your first deposit. I repeat, when you use our promo code MONEYDOWN, Prize Picks will match up to $500 on your first deposit. You can bet small and win big prizes.
I gotta ask you though, NIL legal now, so you can let us know, bro. How much Bama threw on your doorstep to get you number one? Best in the next shit, bro. Come on, go ahead, tell it. They put a beamer in the driveway.
I'm gonna keep it G with you. I saw.
Come on,
I know guys who, obviously, and not just at Alabama. I know guys who, had a lot more. Benefits, I would say that I had, because I genuinely, bro, I was always, and James can tell you this, like I talk a lot of trash and I would do this and the third, but like I'm a very like by the book kind of guy. Like I'm very much like I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to, handle business the right way because I was confident and I always knew like if I handle my business the right way, then like whatever it is that I want, whatever it is that, I feel is owed to me, I will get it at some point and in a way that is most conducive to me, my situation, my life, whatever I want. So, I was scared. I ain't gonna hold you. I was too scared. Too scared. I wanted to do things the right way. I never wanted to get caught by compliance or anything. Yeah. So, I left my official visit with, a T-shirt and a picture with Waka Flocka. That was enough for me. Hey, it's a party. So that was it. But like I said, though, I definitely saw guys that were, more financially stable than I was at the time, because everybody was doing it. And that's ultimately why they had to make it legal, just because, instead of giving people all these sanctions and suspending guys and, giving teams and programs these big fines, like, it's like, why not? Obviously, outside of the obvious reason why guys should get paid, like that's a whole nother story. Is the NCAA necessarily concerned with that part of it? I'm not so sure. But, obviously with everything, they had to make it legal because it was a part of the game. Jane, y'all know that. Like, come on.
They weren't cutting that check at Wisconsin. And they had the bread too, but
hey, you better than me. I'm leaving here with something.
Man, hey, listen, man. I remember it was my junior year, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to go to the draft or if I wanted to come back for another year. And somebody was like, "Man, listen. If you want to come back before you go and tell anybody, before you talk to Coach Saban, you better have a list of what you want, a list of what your mama wants, a list of what your granny wants. You gotta have a list of everything that everybody wants and make sure you get it by that afternoon or you go into the draft. And so I was like, all right, bet. I had it all planned out in my mind. I had a meeting with Coach Saban that afternoon. I went in there, bro. He pushed that button. That's what it was. He pushed the button, and the door closed behind me. I was like, Coach, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I love it here. I'm going to leave Alabama. I'm going to stay here forever. 4 more years, Coach. Sign me up.
So he really got that button on his desk?
What? You thought that was... Bro, you thought that was just made up?
Yeah, I thought it was
like, no, like you for real?
No, like dead ass, bro.
Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Because like the thing is, you go like every time you go in his office, like you go in, you make a left. That's where his desk is, and like he would already be sitting at the desk, right? It wasn't like he'd meet you at the door or nothing. Like you go in, he'd already be sitting at the desk. So you come up and you sit down behind him. And then it's not even like really like out in the open, but he'll just kind of put his hand on his desk and you'll see him kind of like moving his hand around. Next thing you know, the door just swing closed. Like,
that's so movie, dog. That's so movie, dog.
It was intimidating. I ain't gonna hold you. And as soon as that door closed behind me, I was like, nope, I'm coming back. You ain't got to give me nothing. I'm coming back. You got me. You got me.
So draft day rolls around, you get the call from Mr. Kraft, Bill Belichick. What's that moment like for you?
Bro, I was actually surprised as hell because I got a call from Tennessee right before I got a call from New England. Ooh. They were like, hey, we got a pick and, the next couple of picks and, we're thinking about taking you. They didn't say for sure they were going to take me, but they were like, we got a pick coming up, stay by the phone, whoop-de-whoop, yada, yada, yada. And so I was like, all right, cool. And then I get a phone call from Foxborough, Massachusetts. I look at my phone. I said, I'm finna win a Super Bowl. When y'all want me there? Tom who? Bill Belichick. Yes. Bill Belichick. I'm going to be there. And they had me there the next day. It was crazy because I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I'll be there as soon as possible. Whenever you want me there, let me know, da-da-da-da-da. So I had a draft party that night, like in Lexington, which is kind of like the bigger city close to Richmond. Like I had a nice little setup going on. I had some folks that was going to come with me. We was going to celebrate. I had some hotel rooms set up, everything, the whole shebang. Bro, I'm driving on the way, got a truck full of people. Nancy Myers calling me, hey, we scheduled your flight for 6 a.m. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'm like, bro. I didn't really mean like right now. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, they had me up there. So I didn't really get to celebrate. But it was such a surreal moment, not only being drafted by the Patriots and, such a prestigious organization, but, that's the moment that you dream of, whenever you're 8 years old and you start playing, the game of football and, you really dream about where this game can take you. And I remember, I thought that I was going to get drafted higher. I thought I should have got drafted higher. It's just my opinion. But, I was a little bit, almost like that uncertainty, like that lack of confidence started to kind of creep in a little bit again. Like, dang, well, what if I don't get drafted? Or what if I don't get drafted to this round, whatever. But once my name finally got called, it was just regardless of what round it was, regardless of anything, what team it was such a relief off my shoulders, such a weight off my shoulders. And I remember I sat there and once I got off the phone with Bill and Robert Kraft, I didn't even say nothing to nobody. I just sat there and just cried. And then they called my name. I put my hat on and I still didn't say nothing because I was just in such a state of, gratitude and just, feeling like God had really, whatever I thought should have happened that didn't happen, or, whatever up and down, whatever hill valley that I had been on, I finally felt like there was a reason for it all. And, being a New England Patriot was the reason.
Hey, we asked Sony this too now. What was your flight plans like after you got drafted? What?
I ain't gonna hold you. I think
class.
I really think that I was economy. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I really do. I was first class, bro. I think I for plus, maybe. It was not first class. Oh man, the PJ was too busy picking up N'Keal Harry. Am I lying? If I'm lying, I'm lying.
Sony said he ain't get the PJ. They said they put him on Southwest.
Oh, yeah. Nah, they did Sony flawed. Sony was a first-round pick. He should have been in that PJ. He should have been.
They didn't give you first
class. But I will say this, though. It wasn't for nothing because I did get to ride on Mr. Kraft's PJ one good time. James probably put on a little bit more, but I was on
one time.
I was on it one time. Mr. Kraft, he looked out. He took me and Matthew Slater. He took us to Augusta, let us go golf with him. And
that's dope.
You don't want to send the jet for the draft pick? That's cool. You want to take me to Augusta and go golf? That's cool.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Hey, but so talk to us. You know, James kind of played the real cool and chill route, but talk to us about having, you know what I'm saying, like mentors like a James White that can kind of show you the way once you got to the league. Because we all know it's intimidating to walk into a locker room and you're around a prestigious, like you said, a Super Bowl winning organization like that, but you got somebody like our guy James to kind of just lead you through the way.
Yeah. Man, I can sit here and talk about this guy James all night, man. But no BS. You know, James and I have had conversations, and you know, I'm very adamant about the fact that I would not be the pro that I am without James White, without Sony Michel, the pro that I was. I ain't pro no more.
Has-been crew, man.
I wouldn't have been the pro that I was without James, without Sony, without Rex Burkhead, without Brandon Bolden, you know, as model figures of professionalism, of success, of what it takes to be successful in this league amongst other successful guys. But they were also so welcoming and so just accepting me for who I am because, you know what I mean? Like I said, I like to talk a lot of trash. I like to, you know, whoop here, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? But they always saw that I was just a good kid that, you know, loved the game of football, that, you know, wanted to show up and wanted to be my best. And, you know, I didn't show up every day like my best, but that was why having guys like James and, you know, Sony and Rex and BB, you know, to help pick me up on my days when I wasn't my best, when I didn't know how to be at my best because, you know, I'd only been in the league for a couple of years. And that transition from college to pro, it's so much greater than what people give it credit for. But, you know, like I said, I had a great mentor in James and, you know, 3 other great guys. And, you know, they really helped me whenever things weren't going my way. I mean, the amount of times James told me, like, bro, don't worry about it, bro. Just chill, bro.
He gonna tell you that to this day.
Like there'd be so many times though, because like, you know, I just wanted it so bad and I was so like obsessed with having it. And it was like when times and things weren't going my way, James would just be like, bro, just chill, bro. Like, you know how James just chill, bro. Like it's gonna be okay, bro. It's cool, bro. And he would never even explain to me how it was going to work out. He never explained to me why it was going to work out. He never was like, hey, if you do this way to please this coach or to please this quarterback or to do this or to do that. Like, it was never advice like that. It was just like, bro, it's going to be straight, bro. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's all going to work out, bro. Like, everybody here has got a job to do. Everybody's just trying to do their job. You know, yeah, there's this that may happen. There's this that may happen. You know, this may be up here. This may be down here. You know, we all going to go through things on a daily basis. You know, everybody's fighting a battle. But, like, bro, we're here. Let's just put our head down. Let's just do the work. And let's just, you know, let's just be about our business. Let's be professional. Like, it ain't no need to get all worked up. There's no need for the emotional roller coaster. Like, at the end of the day, you got to show up, do your job, and anything outside of that really just don't matter, good or bad. You know what I mean? So, you know, that, like I said, that transition was definitely tough, but having guys like James and, you know, all the other guys that I mentioned really, you know, helped me to overcome, you know, my confidence starting to dip or, you know, overcome playing special teams when I had never played special teams in my life, you know, help me overcome being coached by Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick when, you know, that wasn't easy. You know what I mean? So I definitely am very, you know, appreciative of having guys that I could look to to help mold me and shape me and keep me afloat whenever, I don't know if I don't know that I could have done that on my own. And I don't know that I could have done that going into, a position room with guys that weren't that, that professional, that humble, and quite frankly, just that cool. You know what I mean? Like, we laughed, we joked, we had a good time, and we got together, and it was just all things that helped form me into the player that I ended up being.
Yeah, and it was dope because you and I kind of went through similar rookie years, so that's why I tried to kind of keep you on that path. Like, I played in 3 games my entire rookie year, then wasn't getting any reps in practice, none of that. It's not for like training camp and everything. The season rolled around. I was afterthought. It was an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Like, no coach is really talking to you. You don't really know what's going on. It's hard to stay motivated throughout this. So I just try to keep you just like keep pushing, keep working, and when the opportunity comes, you just got to capitalize on it. That's how it was for me. It came by injury. I think yours almost kind of came the same way. Somebody got banged up, you step in, and boom. That's really what it's like. And I know it's not easy. A lot of these rookies that got drafted this year, they'll be going through that, about to start training camp in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Like, some of these guys may play right away. Some guys may have to sit back. May not play. Sit back. May not play at all your rookie year. You got nobody gonna want to hear you crying next year. They're gonna draft another guy, your same position, try and beat you out. So you can move around if you want to.
You for a long time.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely
honestly, one thing that I really, obviously, like, I just sat here and talked about James, but that kind of, like, whenever James was that for me, like, I wanted to be that for the next guy that came behind me. You know what I mean? Like, Mondre Stevenson came in, and, like, granted, he was talented from day one. He played from day one. Like that, I'm not trying to compare it from that perspective, but, I still wanted to be like the guy that James was, that just always knew the right thing to say, that always knew the right thing to do, to always, set the right example, like, under any circumstance. And, like I said, when James retired, then everybody looked at me like, You the old guy in the room. I swear to God, it was like James showed up to work one day, and the next day he was gone. Like, he didn't show up no more. So everybody was like, "Is James coming back?" And I'm not so sure. And they're like, "Well, you're now the oldest guy in the room, so all eyes on you." And I'm like, "Oh man!" It was. I was like, "Damn, James." But once that happened, like I said, I really tried to channel my inner, James, Sony, B, Rex, and not feel like I got to do anything special or, show up in any dramatic fashion as a mentor or role model, but just, set a good example, do things the right way, play the game the right way, prepare the right way, practice the right way, be professional, and, just try to rub off on as many guys as I could, not even just Mondre, but, Kevin, Pierre, when Pierre was there, but all the guys younger from me, I just tried to do the same thing because, that's kind of how the game works. The game, gives things, it gives lessons, it gives, all types of things that you can take with you all throughout life. And, what it gave to James gave to me. And then I wanted to, pass it on that way. We just keep showing up for each other, as teammates, as brothers, as, brothers in this league, we gotta keep showing up for each other.
100%. I seen that watch on you, Richie. Just so I know you big.
Hey, no, I ain't seen that. Hey, he hiding the chains too.
Yeah, so I see you started a little watch page on IG. You got a little business going on. Let the people know what's going on.
Yeah, man. So I was actually, I've been, trying not to overload myself. Obviously being a dad now, and trying to soak up all the time with my son. But yeah, no, I'm trying to start I'm gonna start my own watch business. Called Dame Time & Co. I love watches. I've loved watches for a long time. And, I felt like instead of buying watches all the time, and, trying to spend all my money on watches, I would rather, the happiness that I feel when I get a new watch, like, I love to also give that to somebody else. And, like, if James ends up buying a watch from me, seeing the satisfaction that he's going to get, like, that's going to do me a lot of good. That's going to make me feel like, like I bought a watch because, I can service my dog, help him get what he wants, but, really it's just about me loving watches. Like, I love anything, timepieces. I love watchmaking, the history of it. My number one thing on my bucket list is to go to Watches and Wonders in Geneva, and just go to all the Patek houses, the Rolex houses, Audemars, FP Journe, and honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do it big. But yeah, man, I really, I'm really in love with watches, and as a first time father, I start thinking about like, well, what can I pass down to my son that, something that I love, something that he could potentially love, but
it's value too.
Also a business side of it, right? Like, I want to be, I tell my wife this all the time, like, whether it be with the watch business or, whatever I do in life, like, I just want to be like the pioneer of our family. Like, I want to be the guy that, a century from now, they point to a picture and be like, yeah, this was Dame the first, and he set up this family business, and he was really the patriarch of the success of our family. And when I look at my son, that's just all I see is just like passing things down from generation to generation. And watches is really the biggest thing that I love. That's why I named it Dame Time and Co. Because not because people call me Dame, but because we named my son Dame. And this is something for him, and something that I want to be able to enjoy and pass down to him, and just leave a family legacy for us. So yeah, anybody out there, if you need a watch, I got Audemars, I got.
Hey, I need one. I need one. I need a couple.
Millie, I can get you that Patek. I can get you whatever you need, whatever you need. There's no limits. There's no bounds. Y'all follow me on Instagram, Dame Time and Co. Whatever, like I said, whatever you need. And listen, I help anybody, whether it be your wife, your baby mama, your side piece, anything. Whatever you need a bust down AP for your side piece, I got it. It don't matter. Oh shit! In all seriousness, man, yeah, Dame Time and Co. Y'all go follow that. And help a brother out. I'm not trying to do anything crazy, or I just want to have something that I can give my son. Start a family business. And like I said, I love watches. I love timepieces. I love to look at them. I love to study them, the movements, all the different models, different brands, Tissot, Seiko, you name it, it don't matter. So y'all tap in. Yeah,
we got you. We got you.
Hey, so first time, you get called, that check hit, you check your Chase account, that shit say plus. What's the watch you gifted yourself with? What Rolex?
Bro,
what you got?
I'm gonna tell you a story, right? I'm gonna tell you a story. So when I was in college, and I always told myself, like, the day I can buy myself an all gold presidential Rolex is gonna be the day when I really feel like I'm popping my shit. Like I'm popping. And so I took a screenshot of it, and but then I kind of forgot about it for a long time, right? And so once that check hit, the first thing I did was I went to the Rolex store on Newberry Street. And so I got a great guy that I work with in Newberry. His name's Matt Bailey. And, he hooked me up, and he's like, listen, and he didn't even know that this was, my dream watch, but he was like showing me stuff that he had. And he's like, I got this all gold presidential right here. It's got the baguette hour tickers. It's got the diamond bezel. I said, I'm buying it. I'm getting it. No ifs, ands, but he's like, you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'm buying it. Send the wire, cut the check, the invoice. I don't care what you got to do. I'm walking out the store with this watch. And then I kid you not, a couple of days later, I went through my phone, and I swear to God, I was looking for a picture of something else. And I came across the screenshot of literally the exact watch that I just bought. Like, literally the exact watch that I just bought. And I'm like, I made it. Yeah. But, since then, I've really been trying to, update my collection, because it's just, again, that's something else that I want, whenever my son grows up, I want him to see my collection, be like, oh, Dad, I want to wear this one, or Dad, I really like this one, or Dad, I want to, you know what I mean? Like, granted, I love it, and, it does a lot for me, but I'm telling you, like, everything, having a son, man, like, I see everything through his eyes now. I see everything with him at the forefront of it. And, I would love for my son to be the CEO, the owner, the handler of Dame Time & Co. one day as a real successful watch, jewelry, high-end luxury, brand.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
That's lit.
Appreciate it. Make sure y'all check out Dame Time.
Dame Time and Cole. Yeah.
Hey, no, I got a little Apple Watch. What it ain't? You feel me?
Hey, man,
do the stir.
What young boy can't show him my watch, mama.
Hey, y'all selling G-Shocks?
Yeah, I got you. Like, listen, this is the biggest, and I'll tell you this right now. The biggest misconception that people have is your first watch has got to be a Rolex, it's got to be a Patek, it's got to be like a showstopper, a stunner, all that. Like, listen, as much as I love that gold Rolex, and as much as that was my dream and everything, and I put all my chips on it. Now that I'm a collector, and now that I know the different workings of how you buy watches, why you buy watches, so on and so forth, the value of it has gone down tremendously. Like it's like down like 15% from whenever I first bought it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like looking at it. And granted, like I've still got the watch, but it's just like the value of it isn't what I wanted it to be. So like all that to say, like I was one of those guys like that thought that my first watch into the watch collecting business needed to be a big heavy hitter piece, and then I got a 15% loss in value on it, which is crazy. But there's so many like great Seikos, Tag Heuers, Tissot's, G-Shocks. Like I swear to God, bro, the watch that I wear the most often day to day is a G-Shock that I got off Amazon. Swear to God. It's like a digital G-Shock, gold case, black rubber strap. I wear that literally unless I'm going to an event or, unless I'm doing like a little podcast or something. Unless I'm doing something like
feel that.
But truly, like I said, and I got a really cool Seiko, Japanese edition Seiko. That was actually made in Japan, and it's like watches like that aren't going to break your bank account for something just to stand out, but it's like it's a really intricate piece. This is a really rare piece that you're not going to see a lot of people wearing. So I think the misconception of getting into the watch game just to buy big crazy pieces is such a misconception. I swear to God, I've talked to more people about like the entry level, like I said, Seikos and stuff like that.
Tissa has some nice little watches.
They do. Bro, listen, whatever you need, my boy, I got you.
Hey, I just want to say I'm honored to just be on a podcast with all three people that just got bags, man. Got bags, man. I'm just trying to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, here we all.
Hey, shit.
I'm employed right now. I'm trying to get a job. I'm over here acting like I got it. I ain't got no job.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I do got to ask you, bro. So, you spent some time with the Bills as well, man. What was the difference for you, between New England and Buffalo? I gotta ask.
I would just say, for a lack of better words, I would say the attention to detail was the biggest glaring difference to me. Because, and James can attest to this, like if you. Like I was there with Josh McDaniels where like if you were in a walkthrough in the virtual room, like literally all offensive guys, you got some guys like lined up on defense, you're just walking through stuff. Like if I just had my eyes in the wrong direction, Josh would get out. Just get out. Like get out. Just you're not even looking in the right. Get out.
Man, I had something in my eye.
Get in here. James, how are you? James, get in here. Like, but then whenever I went to Buffalo, like you could be in a game or like, practice or something. And it was like, okay, yeah, you may have made a mistake this one time, but like, let's just fix it. Like, let's not let it happen again. And I was just like, I remember I caught myself looking a lot of times like,
ain't gonna say nothing else.
That's all right with y'all. Hey, I'm just paid to be here. I ain't paid for all of that. So, it was just like, and there was, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that. I mean, hell, if you look at the history of the Bills and Patriots, like the Bills have gotten the better of the Patriots more recently. So again, like I can't really say that like that's, a problem, but it was just very much so more like, if you were to make a mistake or if you were to, take the wrong step or take the, this or that, like it wasn't looked at as like, what Bill used to say, either you don't know or you don't care. Yeah. And it's just like, which one is what? You know what I mean? But in Buffalo, it was like, you could kind of take those false steps because there was always like a learning curve that they would expect you to have. Like, oh yeah, like, it's obviously this is hard. This is pro football. The plays are hard. Like, we're playing against good guys. I remember I heard one of the coaches in Buffalo say like, oh, well, the other guys get paid good too. Like the other team gets paid well too. And I'm like, when was James, have you ever heard Bill say some shit like that?
Hell no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it would be like, you lose a rep or something. It'd be like, well, I mean, the other guy gets paid good too.
Yeah. No, nigga, you better win that shit.
What? Man, dominate your box. Yeah. Like, bro, come on. I think that was the biggest difference. Just like the attention to detail. And like, I definitely, and this is no disrespect to, Sean McDermott, because I think he's one of the best coaches in the league, watching him and playing for him. But, it really made me understand how different Bill was from other coaches, from other successful coaches. And granted, the Bills haven't, got that Super Bowl, but McDermott's a successful coach. The Bills have been a successful team over the past few years. They had success and they have things that work and everything. But like, I could feel what made Bill just like just at a different level.
Yeah. Okay. Before we wrap, man, give me one good, give the people one good Bill story. I know you probably got quite a few of them, Bill used to be on your case a little bit early on.
So. Let's see. I'm trying to pick the best one, the most appropriate for a podcast.
Man. Hey, whatever's on your mind, bro. It's all appropriate.
Listen. And I say this with all the humility in the world. And like, just because this is what it is. I mean, Buddy just got paid. He's a great back. But I remember, like, I wouldn't say that Bill ever tried to like drive a wedge or anything like that. But like, Bill knew how to push the right buttons to try to make people, want to play better and want to perform better. James, am I lying?
You're not lying whatsoever.
And he knew which buttons to push. And with me, the button was always Ramondre. And it was always like, Ramondre this, Ramondre that, and he just because he knew that was going to be my button, right? Now, granted, Mondre was my boy, so I didn't pay it no mind because really, like it was just like me and James, right? Like me and Mondre had a bond. I was like, no matter what Bill says, I ain't gonna let this affect my bond with him. Like, forget that. But I remember there was a time whenever we were playing. Who did we play? I think we played Dallas. And I had like a run, I had like a toss or something. And like, as soon as I caught the toss, I went to plant and cut and I slipped. I ended up having to manage like a nice little run, you know what I mean? Maybe gain like 6-7 yards. It was a good run, whatever. And so we go in to watch the film the following Monday. And so Bill pulls up this clip and he gets to the point where I slip, right? And he, rewinds.
He's cooking up some shit.
And he'll like look back over around. And so he didn't even say nothing. And so then the very next play, like you would think that it's going to go to another clip from the game, right? It goes to a clip from practice where Mondre ran the same play in practice. Where all he had to do was get a tall sweep. And he was like, hey, Harris. He's got his little red clicker, little red laser. Like, hey, Harris. I mean, you see Stevenson slip right here.
Bro, Bill Petty, bro.
I mean, just help me understand why you can't do that. I mean,
bro, Bill Petty, bro.
This is how I want it to be done. Like, I mean, and you go back and like, what is this? Are you on ice skates?
Bro,
go back to Mondre and say, Stevenson, I mean, this is what I want. and the crazy thing is, it would be in front of the whole team.
Ramondre sitting right next to you too. Like,
and we over here, and bro, that was one of the moments where James was like, "Bro, just chill, just chill, bro. You know what he's doing, bro. Just chill, bro. Just chill." But that was my those. And honestly, there were a lot of incidents like that because, you know, and not just with me, but like Bill just knew the right buttons to push with everybody. And honestly, kudos to him because it made me play better. It made everybody else play better. And, you know, it's a part of the reason why he had the success that he had, you know, an unprecedented run that nobody could ever, you know, duplicate, replicate, try to do again. It'll never happen. Like, we know that, you know, Bill Belichick is, if not greater than, you know, the figure that Nick Saban is at Alabama. Like, Bill Belichick is the Mecca. He is the Omega. You know what I mean? So whatever sick, twisted ways he had of getting the best out of people, you know, it was.
That's hilarious, dog.
It worked. You know what I mean? It worked. I'm sure he did stuff to James. Hell, I remember.
Before I got there, it was much worse. Trust me. It wasn't all pretty.
I heard him say stuff to I remember the first time I ever heard him go off on Tom. I remember because it was a snap. Somebody had snapped the ball over Tom's head. And he jumped up trying to get it. And Bill just showed over. I mean, Tom, you didn't jump over a piece of paper.
Oh,
and like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh my God, I better not ever.
Everybody had
it. Everybody got it, man. And like I said, he was a master at getting the best out of people. And, you know, he got the best out of me. Obviously, he got the best out of James and a lot of other guys that have been through that organization. So, you know, just like everybody else, man, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to, you know, deal with the Belichick way, you know, just like the Saban way. Like, It's a part of my story and it's a part of what helped me get to the height of my career that I did. And, you know, I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for Coach Saban. I'm grateful for guys like James that I got to play with. And, you know, I'd say that's the biggest thing about where I am in my life right now is like I'm at a place where I can look back at all the experiences that I had, all the things that I accomplished, all the moments that I tried to be with, or the moments that I got to be a part of, and just be content with that because, like, bro, I did more than enough.
Yeah, 100%. That's what life's all about, man. Appreciate you tapping in with us, man. We had to get you back on during football season, man. Yes, sir. Shout out to Damien Harris. Make sure you check out Dame, Time, and Co, man. Tap in with him, man. Yes, sir. Have a watch.
Aaron, hold your wrist up. Hold it up. Or at least pop your chain or something.
You see it? He's shining. We see it.
You know. I took the watch off earlier.
Diamonds on building. Oh, man, I appreciate y'all boys, man.
Appreciate it.
Give it to my family every song I ever wrote. This shit feel like Game 7. Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings.
That boy Russ swear he the biggest Crip in Compton. Like, boy, just walk normal for 2 days, bro.
He ain't gonna miss a chance to Crip walk.
Anytime the camera on him, bro. Feet cocked to the side, like, bro. Come on, you don't play that way. You don't play with your feet like that, that's the shit Bill would say right there. Like this. Walking around like this. Fucking stupid.
Fucking gang members and shit.
What do you say? What do you say, James? I don't want to hear any more of this nigga
that. Yeah. They're funny now.
Shit off and
he ain't saying that shit for real. He said that?
Essentially, yeah.
Allegedly. I'll say this. My source was good. So he's an honest man. A God-fearing man, you might even say.
I won't say no names.